I would like to know your thoughts on this subject that we were talking about off air.
So we were talking about cheating, and particularly if you're in a relationship that is fairly new, like no more than like 6 months, and somebody has cheated on you, I don't think there's any reason to stay.
I'm going to alter that statement and say that I don't think there's any reason to stay ever, regardless of time in the relationship.
I agree, but I think there might be more of a case to stay if you have like a marriage or a family invested into it. I could see why someone might want to hang on to that to see like, hey, look at all that we've done. There is something here. We might be able to work on things.
Well, yeah, it's always nuanced. I mean, every situation that you come across is going to be, have some nuances to it. I know the experiences both ways from my younger days as a stupid, immature teenager.
Right.
And the effect that it has on you as a person to get cheated on is just, it's devastating.
It messes you up.
And I don't know, I mean, obviously if you have kids and you have a marriage, and I'm not saying just give up at the first sign of trouble, but at the same time, that is the one thing that is incredibly difficult to recover from. How do you ever recover from that?
Yeah,
I mean,
the trust thing
the trust thing is huge.
Permanently damaged.
And I've seen people do it, and I've seen couples that stay together, but to me it's more trouble than I think is worth it. If you are willing to go cheat on somebody, just break up with them. Like, do them the favor and just break up with somebody before you decide to go anywhere and do anything. Because, I mean, you're only going to hurt that person. You're only going to cause more damage. And a fear of being alone and a fear of, like, not having a boyfriend or significant other, I think that is getting larger and larger in people now, to the point where they rush into these relationships that are just cancerous for them.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Loneliness is big in people. Like, I can see why people would jump into a relationship, but when something's not good for you, you shouldn't actively like still try and pursue something that's damaged.
Well, and I also think too that there hasn't been much evidence that's been put forth as a reason to stay.
Yeah, I don't see what's the highlight.
I don't know what. I guess when you have somebody that looks at things as if the grass is going to be greener on the other side, chances are that person will never be able to truly appreciate what they have. That person is always going to seek out things that will make him or her quote unquote better.
Yeah.
And or will make that person and bring that person happiness, when it's just really a lack of appreciation of what you already do have, not of the things that you don't. And so to, look at it from a point of view of an outside party, like, it's easy for us to sit here and say, well, she should move on, or, she should choose better. But at the same time, especially if you don't think that you can do better, there's no hope. And it sucks to be the person that has to sit idly by and just watch.
That's the hardest part.
It's just sitting here and being like, hey, I'm going to tell you all this stuff to encourage you and to make you empowered, and in that you should trust your decision that you want to make. Like, I mean, there's nothing to think about. There's nothing to wait and decide about. Like, I mean, there's not a whole lot of time invested into the relationship. That person's already willing to cheat on you now. Clearly, they're not into you the way that they say they are.
Yeah, like, what does that relationship even look like in 2 years, a year?
I mean, can you see yourself marrying that person? Like, can you see yourself marrying somebody that at the early stages of your relationship cheated on someone?
Yeah, I don't think.
Because, I mean, a marriage is it's a commitment.
Right.
And I also think that that's a fun topic that we can get into, but the marriage and how fickle people's marriages are now, to where one hardship comes about that they don't feel like they can get over and they just divorce. I mean, the divorce rate is higher now than it's ever been, ever.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
I kind of wonder, like, what exactly are the factors to people, like, opting out of their relationship? I mean, I assume that cheating is a big one, but I just, like, I don't know what the other reasons could be.
Well, I think that there's a rush to get married, and especially if you do get married straight out of high school.
Oh.
It works. I mean, I have friends that it works, and they're still together.
Yeah.
But I also know that when you don't get to experience your life and you've known this person since before your brain was fully formed, and then you get older and get new responsibilities, get a different job, and meet new friends, and experience life as an adult, it starts to look like, oh man, like I really, I made a mistake. And I think a lot of the people that are getting a divorce now, it's either because of infidelity or just a grass is greener on the other side situation where they think like, oh, it'll be better over there. There's other people out there that I haven't gotten to experience, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I'm curious to see, like, if there are statistics out there, what the, like, amount of, like, high school sweethearts exist. Like, like, per, I don't know, school, like, what's the average of that kind of thing happening?
Well, let's look it up. I think it's sad that there's such a lack of like moral hard work. People want the easy road. They want the easy road, and they think, marriage is the answer to your problems if you're lonely, and and I also think that too, there's this pressure to get married at a certain age. I know I did I felt it at one point. I haven't gotten married, but I felt it at one point where I was like, I had a certain plan for my life. I wanted to be married by a certain time, and I decided to make things fit that otherwise wouldn't or shouldn't have fit, rather, not wouldn't have. I mean, we would have made it work, but I don't think that, I think it's better off now that I've learned and I've grown in a certain thing.
I think people need to embrace the loneliness, because being by yourself, you really get to figure out what things you like, what kind of person you're looking for. Whereas if you're jumping into relationship after relationship, you're only getting, like, I don't know, doses of good and bad things. Whereas when you have time to yourself, you get time to think and kind of look at things in a different perspective and be like, hey, like, casually dating or just going on dates, you're figuring things about yourself and who you want to be with and who you want to end up with. So I think, having that lonely time in your life, and it's not even necessarily alone, because I mean, you have your family and friends to be there for you. And so you don't have to, like, be literally lonely. You can just look at things in a independent, I guess, perspective.
Right. So I found this article. This is 2017, so it's a little bit outdated, but less than 2% of all marriages are between high school sweethearts.
Wow, that is shockingly a lot lower than I thought it would be.
On the flip side, divorce rates within the first 10 years for high school sweethearts is 54%, which is much higher than the average American couple, sitting at 32%.
Is that the 32% is just the average divorce rate?
Yeah, that's just the average couple divorce rate that met after high school. But of the divorced people in the statistic, 54% of them were high school sweethearts that got divorced within the first 10 years.
That's crazy. Like, if you married someone in high school, there's a 50% chance that it's not going to work out.
Right, which is, I mean, I can see that. We were stupid in high school compared to, us as adults now, but I think that when you make decisions based off of either pressure, based off of
comfort.
Comfort. That's a huge one. Like, if you don't want to sacrifice your comfort, you don't want to step out in an area that's kind of unknown. I think that really affects the decisions that you make. And it's something that I've struggled with before, of almost making decisions based off of pressure from whatever, it's various things at the time, but
yeah,
it could really end up, you could change the entire course of your life. I mean, heck, I wouldn't be in the happy, committed, healthy relationship that I'm in now with the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with if I hadn't have made those stupid decisions when I was a kid.
It all led up to this.
Would I take it back? No. I am who I am.
No regrets.
No regrets. No regrets. I think that cheating is a difficult subject. It's one of those things where, you have the one side of people that want to be just, they want to just sleep around and do their thing. And, what makes me laugh, well, I guess I shouldn't say laugh, more so something that I just don't necessarily understand, is the people that are in committed relationships to each other, but then are like, is it polyamorous? Is that what it's called when they're sleeping with other people? Like an open marriage, an open relationship.
Yeah.
That to me is the hardest thing for me to understand.
I've been trying to think about, I just got an email, how that system all works, but that's really a thing between two parties being like, these are the rules we want to make for ourselves and this is what we're going to do, and that's just how they operate. There's an update to that story we talked about a couple episodes ago about the cheating.
The YouTuber and the cosplayer.
Yeah, so he went out with another statement, a not good statement. It's really bad. But he was saying that they were in a polyamorous relationship and that I guess that's why he felt it was okay to cheat. But when the wife responded to those comments, she was saying, like, when I was talking to other people, he always knew about it. The person that he was sleeping with, she was never like brought to that attention. And so like when they made their guidelines of like, okay, this is how we're gonna like operate within this thing, he never like he lied about it. So
I mean, oh, that's a head scratcher.
yeah, it's gonna be weird for us because we don't understand that, we don't do that. So we're looking at it in like just like at a window glass kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I get that. I mean, if you have, I guess, to each their own. I don't necessarily care what you do.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting somebody, do
there
you,
was someone
boo-boo.
hurt in this situation.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, I mean, I guess that's something that if we're going to judge it based on the confines of their relationship and you look at it from, okay, they were polyamorous, which I think is very strange to me.
Yeah.
Deciding to sleep with other people. She was open about it, and her wishes were that he told her about the people that he was with, and he didn't. Then that's lying, and I guess I wouldn't call it cheating.
But it is like objectively cheating in their terms. Like I said, it's weird because it's like the polyamorous thing, but that's what it is.
But I would think
being open about it.
I would think that because you are open about it, cheating isn't like.
It doesn't come off as cheating.
It's not the same thing.
It's a weird thing to think about if you're just like, I'll pitch you the scenario, I guess. It's like if you're with somebody and you're like, hey, it's okay to sleep with other people. And then like that person does it, but off the record. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Well, okay. I mean, I guess if you want to play devil's advocate, you can say that, yes, you said that we could sleep with other people, but that's the whole point, is that I'm sleeping with somebody else, not you. So why should you feel the need to know about it?
Because those were the rules we agreed to.
Well, if that's the case, then yes, he's in the wrong. But again, I still don't think that it's cheating. I think that he lied about it, and that's not. It's just as bad to lie to your significant other.
Yeah, like I said,
I think the whole thing is it's just strange to me. But I also, again, I don't understand. I'm not about that life.
How do you feel about the different levels of cheating? Because there is like a mental cheat, and then obviously the like physical one that happens.
I think that cheating is cheating. I think that if you are going to emotionally invest in somebody else that's not your significant other, then you are taking away from your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or whomever.
When do you think is like the first sign of cheating? As soon as you start having those other thoughts?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say thoughts, because there's not really, I mean, I had a thought the other day of pulling over and fighting somebody, but I didn't. So I shouldn't be arrested for assault, right? Like, and I'm not saying, I'm not by any means advocating that you just cheat on somebody in your mind. You got to fix the problem that's deep down, that you feel that what you have is not adequate, and that you're not satisfied with what you have and not happy with what who you're with. Right. That's the deeper issue. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think that, if you have a thought of something but no actions have taken, you're not talking to anybody, I wouldn't consider that cheating. But if you are messaging other people and you are actively trying to invest your emotions and your time into somebody else, regardless of if you were physical or not, to me, that's being dishonest, and that's being like, I wouldn't again, I wouldn't call it cheating. I wouldn't be like, oh, you cheated on me. No, but I'd be like, wait, you're talking to somebody else. Like, I'd still have a problem with it. But then if that person were to have sex with somebody else, or even even to make out or be intimate with somebody in any way, holding hands is not, my girlfriend holds hands with her friend at some point, and I'm not thinking that she's cheating on me by any means. But if I went out to the movies with my friends and saw her at the movies with some guy and they were like cuddling arm in arm, like, I would probably want to fight that guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, the intent behind it, that's like the big takeaway. If you're like actively messaging other people for selfish reasons,
Well, I mean, yeah,
dishonest.
you nailed it on the head. The intent is there. And I don't think that there is, if you're thinking about doing something horrible, but then you never act upon it because you intended to keep it, just as a thought, a fleeting, as a hopeful, fleeting thought in your mind, I would never look at you, if you were like, hey man, like the other day you said something wrong and I thought about just square off punching you in the face, but I thought better against it and I didn't. I wouldn't be like, well, you thought about punching me in the face, so therefore, that's as good as punching me in the face, and therefore
we must fight.
Hands on sight. You catching these hands like a baseball game. But I don't know. I think that a lot of people try and find these. They try and find these loopholes. A loophole into, oh well, I mean, we didn't even hang out, so like it's not cheating. It's like, yeah, but you sent her nude pictures, bro. Like, you were texting her dirty things. Like that to me is the intent is there. The intent is that you have plans, or at least are thinking about, stepping out on this relationship and have started to take concrete steps towards that solution.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's just harmless flirting. I'm sorry. I've never been a one that's just as like a, oh, well, I'm like the Friends episode that you've never seen because you live under a rock and are stupid. No, I'm just kidding.
I've been thinking about watching. I saw a clip of it.
It's like, funny, dude.
And it's like, maybe I'll give this a chance.
Just give it a couple episodes.
Well,
you'll get hooked.
I've seen it before. It's just, starting from the beginning now with an adult big brain.
Right. No, there's an episode where Monica, or Chandler says, he was flirting with the pizza girl. Ross is pissed that he was flirting with the pizza girl. He's like, I wasn't flirting with the pizza girl. And she's like, oh, it's okay. I flirt with guys all the time. And he goes, you do? And like gets all, butthurt about it and stuff. I would be upset if I was told specifically that my girlfriend or wife was intentionally flirting with other guys. That would bother me.
Yeah, I could see that would.
Because it's the intent.
Your jimmies.
Yeah. Huh?
Rustle your jimmies?
Rustle my jimmies.
It's a saying.
It's a saying by whom?
The internet.
I hate the internet.
Yeah. They're like, oh, my jimmies have been rustled.
I think that's another big thing too, is that, when you have such readily accessed people and feeds, you start to build up these ideas of what these people are. And so if you are in a relationship as a guy and are following all these girls, that are half naked on the feed and doing their thing, and you start messaging them because you're like, oh man, that girl's like hotter than my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You
I want to see what that's about.
Yeah, you are lacking the appreciation of what you have. I was just thinking about this the other day. The thought of like me not being in a relationship and having to start over with building the emotional connection and building that friendship, and it just sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's not.
It just doesn't sound like a good.
It's not a good time.
I want to build on what I already have and make it stronger. I don't want to go out and build something new.
Yeah, I think that's probably a big reason why people might latch onto things, is just because it's like, man, now I have to start all over again. Someone else has to know my deep dark secrets, my past. I have to start anew with an entirely new situation, and they probably get tired of it, which might lead to settling.
Yeah, I know, and I'm very big as someone who almost settled. Like, I'm very big on, if you're not happy and you're not getting the maximum amount of, joy and love that you can out of a person, not that you're using that person, but I feel rejuvenated when I spend time with my lady. And I will not choose knowing what I've been through, I will not willingly choose to be unhappy. I have made a conscious decision. I said I'm not going to choose unhappiness. I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to choose the right steps. I'm going to choose the right thing. And it was, the best decision that I ever made. But when we settle based out of fear, you are also allowing yourself to be
Unhappy.
like you're willing yourself to be less happy than you could be.
Yeah, I think you owe it to yourself to not settle and to, I don't know, give it another shot. Not immediately.
I mean, take some time, figure out who you are.
Yeah.
If you have a habit of these destructive relationships, you are seeking the wrong thing, and you need to find out what you want and then go after what you want, and don't settle for anything less than what you want.
Do you think it's a thing of bad luck, or you just happen to be attracted to this kind of, I guess, relationship?
I don't believe in luck.
Okay.
I think that you manifest certain things in your life based on the decisions that you make. And so at some point along the way, there might have been a case of trauma. There might have been a case of some form of adverse reaction that you experienced as a child that has altered your pleasure center to where what you derive pleasure from, I would consider like no bueno.
No bueno.
So I think that there are certain people that allow themselves to be unhappy because, number one, they either think that they don't deserve happiness based off of things that they've done in the past.
Oof.
As like a guilt thing. Like they know that they've hurt somebody, or they know that they're guilty to the point where, they don't feel that they deserve happiness because they've caused unhappiness in somebody else. I think that that's a big factor that plays into a lot of things. But I also think that, when you are when you've had a series of bad relationships, when you've connected yourself emotionally and physically to somebody, that becomes imprinted on you, and that is like almost the standard, and you don't think that it can ever get better until you hold out on someone like that. But the relationships that come quick and the relationships that come easy, those are usually the ones that are not the right ones for you.
Would you say the best ones are spontaneous? That kind of happens?
Spontaneous, but also the ones that require work
and happen naturally.
And I mean, yeah, and happen naturally. I don't believe in fate. I think that the steps of the righteous man are ordained by the Lord, and I think that if for me, I don't believe that anything just happens. I think that there is a plan, and my decisions alter what path I'm taking along that plan and path.
So are you of the mind that everything happens for a reason?
Yes, but not in the way of like, I crashed my car. This is what the Lord wanted for me today. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't think that, that I am all for finding joy in the negative situations. You have to choose happiness. Happiness is not a feeling that people feel all the time. And I think that you choose joy and choose happiness. But I think that a lot of the times, we put ourselves into these boxes and don't allow things to manifest on their own according to, whatever. Like me being alone for a long time helped me to understand what I was looking for. Having the past relationships that I did cemented in me what I was looking for in a partner. And once I knew what I was looking for in a partner, I wasn't going to stop until I found and checked my boxes.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are impatient now, and they don't want to wait, and they don't want to work for the hard stuff. I mean, just the sheer high divorce rate just shows me that people are committed less and less to their marriages, that they're committed less and less to working on something.
I would agree.
Well, my dad told me one thing one time. He said, and this was, I mean, so many nuggets of relational knowledge come from my father.
Nuggets of knowledge.
Relational nuggets of knowledge.
We're
going to coin that phrase.
Tongue twister.
He told me that you don't choose love. That love is not, that you don't feel love all the time for the person that you're with. You choose love. And so, he used him and my mom as an example. He's like, there are times when I don't especially love your mother. She pisses me off. We get into an argument, whatever. I don't always love your mom. But or I don't always feel love for your mom. He's like, but I choose, knowing that the vows that we made, I choose to love that person every day. And I will do my best to love that person to the fullest of my extent every day. And he told me that when I was like 8. I was like a kid.
Wow.
And no, I was probably older than that. We were talking about something serious, and he dropped that on me, and that's stuck with me ever since. And so I'm a very, like, you know me and kind of my past. I'm a very committed person to my friends. Like, when you're my friend, you're in, and you get, like, the true, real, unfiltered version of me, and you're there.
You're part of it.
You're on my bus.
Where's the destination?
Wherever we want to go, son. Hit the road again. Yeah, I think there's a real problem.
For me, I kind of like, I don't want to say like I manifested my loneliness, but like I really appreciate it. I feel like in the headspace that I'm in, like it's just what's right for me. And I wouldn't say it's so much of like a comfortable thing. I feel like yeah, a relationship would be cool, but I'm still like figuring things out for myself.
Tell me more about that. So, what do you think is the number one thing that you've learned in the time that you have been single?
I'm learning what I don't like. I'm learning, certain traits or attributes in people that I'm just like, I only like that at like a friendship level. It's not something I want in a partner.
Right. All you ladies out there, take notes. No, I'm just kidding. Calling all the ladies. I'm like a DJ at a nightclub. Lady.
No, so like I'm learning, and I'm figuring out what I want, and like, I don't know exactly of like, okay, here's my checkbox, but I'm like getting ideas for it. Like I feel like I'll know or feel good about it when I land upon it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of the time too is those kind of things are just like you said. You know it when you see it. It's like a bad car accident.
Yeah,
you know it when you see it.
And I'm more attracted to people when I do find those things that I'm like, yeah, like your personality and the way you're passionate towards things. That's like what I'm feeling. That's what I'm interested in. The looks thing is, looks are looks, but it'll only carry something so far.
Have you ever seen, what is that movie called? They create a woman in a lab. Or not a lab, like they build like their own, like, Dream girl, basically. It's called Weird Science. They're two
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so they're two nerds, and they use a computer program to create the perfect woman. And over the course of the time, they obviously get into hijinks and everything. But she ends up being, they end up learning that they, it's like, oh my gosh, this is not what we want
at all.
They put them in. She puts them in situations where they're like, oh my gosh, there's all these obstacles and all this crap that she puts them up through, and it's just kind of a funny. It's not really like a wholesome message by any means, but it just kind of reminds me of that. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think you should hold out and wait out for the person that's going to make you truly happy.
How do you feel about this? Is like things people have told me before is that like you're gonna meet that person one day, and it's like it's gonna happen on its own time. Do you think there's a thing of like waiting for that to happen, or you kind of have to like put in your effort to kind of seek it out?
Well, I found Gabby when I stopped looking.
Okay.
So I think that you find the person when you least expect it, but there is always a certain level of effort that you have to put in.
Yeah.
If I never would have sent her that original message asking her on that date for the first time, we would not be together, because she lives in a different state, over an hour away, goes to a different church, is in school. I mean, the factors don't line up if there's no effort put forth.
Yeah.
And I think that, the
it's
more
not just
effort,
going to show up at your door.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's, like, you're not going to just get to create your perfect woman in a lab. You're not going to use a computer program to spell out the perfect person for you. Like, you have to, number one, experience things to understand what you like, but then also you have to go out and, to a certain extent, go out and get it. But I also am not, I'm not huge into, once I really like took a break from the whole dating app thing, like I think that it just creates these unhealthy expectations of what relationships are supposed to be like.
Yeah. Well, it's just because the way those apps are made are inherently just kind of like a vague thing, like or in vain, I guess. It's just like I see what I like, I swipe right.
Right.
Um,
Well, it's very surface level.
yeah, it's a surface level thing, and they're just inherently designed to be like a looks based first kind of deal.
Well, and I think that, I've always said that when people say, oh, well, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder and it's on the inside. I mean, yes, the inside is beautiful. You learn the personality and stuff like that. But if you're not attracted to the person, you're not even going to be interested in talking to that person.
Right.
Like if you found somebody attractive, or rather you found somebody unattractive, and someone was like, hey man, you should go talk to her. That girl's like looking at you, but you didn't find her attractive. Her inner beauty isn't going to matter if you stay on the other side of the room.
Yeah, if that's not, I guess, enough to...
I mean, the outer beauty's got to get you in. You decide within the first 10 seconds whether or not you're attracted to somebody. So in that 10 seconds, you're not cognizant of, oh man, I wonder what like her favorite food is, or like, I wonder if she likes art. No, you think she's attractive. You walk up to her and you talk to her. You get to know her.
Yeah.
And then you find out that you love that person because of what she has on the inside.
Yeah, it's like the complement to everything.
Yes. I also, I think that going back to like the effort thing, I think that there is a certain level of effort that we need to be putting into the relationships. And I don't think that effort is found on the dating apps. I think that like you said, you find something that you're attractive, you swipe right. If you match, then you get to send the message. But the whole thing is a flipping game. It's like if I send you the message directly after we match, am I coming off as like needy and thirsty? Or am I, this is the way that the app is designed.
Do you think I'm your
we
knight in
matched.
shining armor?
Yeah, like we matched. And my biggest thing was always, and I always used to get so mad, and I would tell you about it. I'm like, dude, like I will get matches, and then I will message that person, or they will message me, and I'll shoot them a message back, and then I don't get a response and get ghosted. It's like, what is the point? What is the point?
That's the interesting thing about Bumble, is that it like forces you to message somebody. If not, it just goes away, which I think is like, if you are gonna have an app that is around that, those should kind of be like your base guidelines. Like, okay, if you're on here and you don't want to like participate, then just let it go.
Get
away.
off. Get off. What are you
do
doing? I mean, I get it to a certain extent, but the whole point of, if you're going to put effort out, then you might as well use it to its extent.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a certain level of, I'm all for the organic meetup. Like you see a pretty girl at a restaurant, or you're at the gym, or you're at kids convention and you see a girl singing on the worship team. Like if you see somebody that catches your eye, like I'm real big into putting yourself out there. I think that rejection is really powerful in a good way. And I think that a lot of people are afraid of rejection now. Yeah. Nobody wants to get rejected.
The thing with rejection is just, it's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's better to have been rejected but have an answer than just always wonder and be like, man, what if I did do that thing?
Well, and adversity makes you stronger. So when I didn't know how to play the drums and I had to play in front of my whole church, I was like, well, I got to get better, or I'm going to bomb in front of all these people all the time. And had to really work on, becoming a better drummer, so that and the adversity was overcoming that initial, I suck and need to get better. I think that adversity is really powerful in that it pushes you and encourages you to be a better person.
I would agree.
I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, I know, shocker. And he was talking about how, when you put out your best work, and people think it suck, or even you think it sucks. Like that's your cue to be a better, like to work on yourself and become better. And when I create music or I create, do photography or we do the podcast, right? Like last week we were just like, meh, and that was our cue. We need to ship it up and make it better.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to stop wanting to be the best version of myself because I got people to provide for. I have to be a certain person in order to be comfortable with myself.
I take inspiration in like wanting to be that best person, because when I see other people putting out their best version, I'm just like, this is also what I want to do. This is like the level I want to be at. I watched a mini documentary about a graphic designer in Portland, and like I do graphic design and I have like my process of things, but the way this guy operated, it blew my mind. Like how this guy was tackling. He was approached by lynda.com. If you know, they're the education website. You can sign up for classes and get like in-depth teachings from masters at the craft. And he's a really famous graphic designer, and Aaron Draplin, I believe is his name. And
shout out to Aaron Draplin.
Yeah, dude, his work is just phenomenal. But yeah, they approached him. We're like, hey, we for our course that you're gonna offer, for like the demo reel, we want you to make a logo for this fake company and just kind of show them like what you do. Dude, this thing was like 10 minutes, and I feel like I learned in those 10 minutes what like maybe an entire course could offer. Like,
right.
And yeah, so just seeing this guy, be passionate and put out his best work. Like, you could have just, okay, I'm making a logo for a concrete company. What things come to mind? Maybe a truck, some hardware, whatever. But he made this like weird, it's not weird because it's cool, but like a weird like pyramid design, and like it was in the letter A because of the name of the company, and it just looked super crazy. And this guy went through like, I don't know, maybe hundreds of sketches just to kind of get to that idea, and always bounce back off of ideas. And so yeah, seeing this guy and his best work like really makes me want to put out my best work. And yeah.
Well, and I don't like the argument that if somebody else has it good, that's, there's an idea and a mentality that there's only so much out there, and that if somebody else is doing better than you, then all of a sudden, you should just give up and stop really trying to be the best. Like, I mean, seeing somebody else do something great inspires you to do something great so that you can leave your own mark in the graphic design world. Not because, you don't look at that person and be like, oh man, screw that guy. He's got what I want and he's doing better than I am and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, take that as fuel for your fire.
Yeah.
Allow that to burn inside of you so that you can get the motivation to do something about it.
Yeah, it made me want to like I have my way of doing my things, and it's like I want to challenge how I do things now to put out more unique looking work. I'm just wanting to make more stuff now.
That's awesome, man. I think you should.
Yeah, and
you're a good graphic designer, dude. Like,
thanks.
You did the logo for our podcast. You've done the logo for my photography work. You've done all the graphic design work that I've needed. I bounce ideas off of you, and yeah. So I think that the more inspired you get, the better off you're gonna, or the more improvement you're gonna see, and that's awesome, dude.
Thanks. I like the motto of inspire and be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that's been like lingering in my head a lot.
You can always be inspired. Now, I'm inspired by some everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing how hard my dad works and seeing my mom put up as much as she does, and my, you and I and, friends. And I think that I am, as long as you remain humble and stop looking at it from an attitude of negativity. I really do believe that negativity is bringing a lot of people to do things that that otherwise shouldn't be happening. Like cyberbullying, for instance.
Oof.
You feel a certain type of way about yourself, so you get online and you go poop on somebody else. Make you feel a little bit better about yourself. And instead of looking
This
at...
guy's happy, I'm not happy,
Yeah.
but screw this guy.
Well, this guy has something I don't have and I want it. Well, that sucks. I'm going to bring him down a couple pegs.
Yeah.
Make him feel what it's like to be us, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that person works hard.
Yeah.
You look, Floyd Mayweather. I looked at his Instagram. I followed him on Instagram for a little bit. It made me sad. I'm like, dude, I want a duffel bag with $1 million in it everywhere I go.
There's a video that popped up recently of his kids that were at his house, and his son is like, they were testing out their phone case, and he throws it off of the second story or whatever, and then the daughter that's recording her brother is like, oh my god, like, I can't believe you just really did that. And then she runs down the stairs to like check on if the phone survived. It did. The case was cracked, but the phone was fine. But like as she's going down the stairs, you just see, it's like the most subtle flex ever, like how expensive this house probably cost, because the stairway, it's like step, flat surface, step. So it's like a multi-leveled stairway, and it's just like, dude, this is like the craziest amount of money I've seen on a stairway.
Yeah, well, and you look at that, you have the tendency to look at that and go, man, I'll never have that, so I'm just going to give up in the life that I do have.
And then I'm going to hate.
Yeah, then I'm going to hate him on the internet. But like, I think that there is a lack of responsibility. Nobody wants to take responsibility for their actions. So if Floyd Money Mayweather has $52 million, a $52 million staircase, and I have a trailer park in the back of my mom's house, like, that's not anything that he did, and he made the life for himself. I mean, he can barely read, dude. Like, you have to take responsibility for yourself.
He put his effort to what he wanted to
Yeah,
do.
he put his effort into boxing, and he's one of the greatest boxers alive.
Yeah. He's the guy.
He's the guy. He doesn't get hit. He's like 52-0.
Yeah, and you could tell that he knows even the technical rules of.
Oh, he is. I mean, he is the only boxer that does not get hit as much. I saw some crazy statistic that he gets hit less than 5% of the whole fight. Of the whole fight. Throughout the whole fight, he gets tagged maybe 5%.
He's undefeated, right?
Yeah, 52-0.
Did he retire?
No.
No. He just doesn't need to box.
I mean, he doesn't. He is at the level now where he's like, I only want who I want to fight.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, when you're the best, among the best, there are other weight classes. There are, there was just a fight this weekend, Deontay Wilder and someone Real, or I don't know his name. But he got knocked out in the first round, and Deontay Wilder is like, they're saying that he's the Mike Tyson of this era.
Wow.
Yeah, because, he's just a power hitter. He's knocking people out in, like, the 12th round after going 12 rounds of boxing with somebody, and it still has the power to hit somebody one time and they fall to their knees and crumple.
Yeah.
It's just, he's a crazy person. And if he hit Floyd Mayweather, he'd kill him probably. But Floyd is a
different weight class.
160 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's 60 pounds lighter than the guy.
Yeah.
Probably 6-8 inches less, shorter than he is too.
Did Floyd and Manny Pacquiao ever fight?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
They always talked about it, but it was always a thing of like, Floyd wanted Manny Pacquiao to get a drug test, and I don't know if that ever yeah, happened.
And people always would say, oh, it's because Floyd Money Mayweather is scared of Manny Pacquiao, but I'm pretty sure when Manny Pacquiao and Floyd fought, Floyd washed him, so what do you say about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that ever happened, but
I could have swore it did, dude. I'm looking it up right now.
It was always talked about.
Oh my gosh, I know that's all that's up there. Mayweather and McGregor. That was a funny fight. Pacquiao too, yeah. So they fought before. Potential second fight, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, they did fight, and that's what I thought, because I'm pretty sure Pacquiao got washed. got washed. 47-0. Yeah, he won in a unanimous decision. Whew.
So no knockouts?
No knockouts, but he as in a unanimous decision, I mean, they scored it high enough. There was a big enough difference.
Yeah.
They didn't even, they weren't even going to give Manny Pacquiao the benefit of the doubt. How did we get talking about this?
We're talking about passion
And money,
flexing staircases.
flexing staircases, and
It's an insane video, like it, because like I think it was just like on a Instagram live that they were just doing just for the heck of it, and then they got money.
You ever think about what kind of kids those people are going to turn out to be, or like what kind of adults those kids are going to turn out to be?
I think the son probably has a bright future in boxing. It was pretty cool. When he picked up his phone, his lock screen was his dad. I'm like, oh, he looks up to his dad.
I mean, more like on everyday interactions, not necessarily career path. You know that they are at an extreme advantage being born as Mayweather's kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that they're off to an incredible advantage already. But I mean, like, if he were to walk into a Starbucks.
Oh, I would hope that they're not like rude, but I don't know. I don't follow any of them. I don't either. Keep up with any of them.
Well, I mean, this is probably just speculation too, but you know, I think that there's a certain level of respect that comes with living a little bit humble.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on how they're raised too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I know that, you know, it taught me to appreciate the things that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. We have a tendency to look on as haters. And I'm like, oh man, I bet you they're spoiled because they have all this money.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mayweather could be a great dad. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, he's probably a great guy. I hope. That's one thing. I'm actually, so if you listen to worship music, there's a worship artist named Leland, and he tours with Bethel Music, and you know, it's a pretty big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. I'm kind of a big deal. So he is going to be coming to my church this weekend, and I get to play drums with him.
Wow.
And I have met a few celebrities, and I've never had a bad experience. But then I've also heard that there are certain celebrities that you don't want to run into because they're just jerks.
And they'll ruin their image. For
Yeah,
you.
and then you know it's like the whole thing with you're not supposed you shouldn't meet your hero because you're never going to be happy with who they are. I don't not saying that I think that Leland's going to be this type of way, but I always wonder when I see celebrity. I always wonder what those people are like. Like if you were to run into, like when we were talking about Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that would break
my
heart.
Like if I ran into Keanu Reeves and he was a jerk, I'd be like, dude, this is like the biggest disappointment ever.
Yeah.
Or when I met Mac Miller, I was like, I'm really hoping that he's not like a dick. And he was super nice, and it made me a bigger fan. It made me even that much more of a fan.
Did you meet him like through backstage passes?
Yeah, we had like a meet and greet thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I've met Schoolboy Q that way.
Wow.
Yeah, a couple artists. I ran into a basketball player somewhere. It was at like a Benihana's or something. It was a famous basketball player. I can't remember his name.
I don't know if I've seen famous people, but I've never like. I guess it depends on the level of fame. I met a YouTuber at a convention, Evo. Well, it's tournament as well, but I met him. Super nice guy.
Yeah, well, and that's always a funny thing to me too when the people are super rude and you're like, oh, cool. Like, what do they do? Oh, he makes like DIY videos on how to turn like a cracker box into a speaker, and he's got 80 subscribers on YouTube. And you're like, oh, that guy's a jerk? How can that guy be a jerk? What?
Yeah, the guy that I met at the time, he wasn't at that subscriber level, but he just hit 1 million recently. And I'm subscribed to him on Twitch, which means like I give him $5 a month to show him support. And I told him like, oh, hey, Max, like I'm subscribed to you on Twitch. I love what you do. Keep doing what you do. And he's like, you know what, man? He's like, you don't have to do the subscribe thing, but I appreciate that you do anyways. It's like it means a lot to us. It allows us to, put out more content and make the work that we do for you guys. He's like, so thank you. Got a hug from him and took a photo.
Yeah, there's a drummer that I follow on Instagram. I don't know how I ended up getting into this band, the Four Corners. It's like it always reminds me of like video game menu music.
Okay.
Like I always think it's like or like the tech. You know how like Tekken has the arena songs.
Yeah.
This kind of music would be perfect for those arena songs. It's like jazz, but it's like a fusion jazz. It's upbeat. It's super cool. I don't know how I ended up finding out about this guy, but this guy's an incredible drummer. And so I followed him on Instagram, and he posted a video the other day, and I popped it up on my story and was like, dude, this guy makes drumming, and he just makes it look so easy. Constant inspiration. And he added my post to his story and shot me a message and was like, hey, dude, like, I really appreciate the kind words and the support. And I was like, dude, yeah, keep it up, man. You serve as an inspiration to a lot of people. And I think that, the more you keep doing, the better off other people are affected by that. And it was cool to me, not that he posted my, story on his story, and I'm not clout hopping by any means or whatever, but
Right.
It's cool to see that someone of that caliber, that caliber musician is still, reaching out to the fans. I'm big on, you wouldn't be here. Not that I think I'm all high and great, but, these bands and these people, they wouldn't be there without their fans. And so then when they get to a certain level where they're like, nah, man, like, forget it. Like Justin Bieber can't even go to a mall without getting mugged. Right? Like, and I mean, I can't imagine that he's having everyday interactions with his fans, because his fans are all psychopathic 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Wasn't there that thing that he like spit on his fans once?
Oh, I don't even know, dude.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what his current state is now with interacting with people, but I kind of think him being as famous as he was at his age, like, really messed
him up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you showed me.
Yeah, I've shown you these guys before. But like most of their music is, I mean, it's all instrumental, but it just reminds me of like the character selection screen when they're like, and you're getting ready to like load into a match, and you got the song in the background, and you're just kind of back and forth. Like, I think that's just, it's really chill instrumental music. It's cool. But yeah, man, I think that there's you gotta be nice. You gotta choose joy, dude.
Yeah, live an honest and happy life.
Yeah, if you focus on the negative, man, all you're ever gonna find is negative.
Speaking of like meeting people we looked up to, getting a tattoo in South Korea by a guy that like I followed his work for several years, that to me was like one of the best experiences.
Dude, that was such a cool experience.
Because I was like, what is this guy gonna be like, and how's it gonna go down? And he was such a cool guy. Now I have a piece of his art on me forever, and that was a surreal experience.
Well, I didn't even know what to expect, like, because I've followed his work, but not to the level of you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to tag along for the experience to go to South Korea, and I wasn't expecting him to speak just about perfect English. I thought that we were about to, I had like Google Translate ready. I was about to roll in there and be like, hey, tattoo, appointment this time, whatever. No, I spoke like perfect English. I was like, dude, this is awesome, man. Like, how's it going? Asking him the Wi-Fi password and taking pictures on his roof. And yeah, it was cool, man.
Yeah, it was cool just to be like, I see when he posts stuff like either on his stories or his posts like of his studio. And like when I walked in to those doors, and like I'm at the place where I have looked through a screen,
right,
in real life, and it's like about to go down.
Yeah,
no regrets. One of the best experiences of my life.
It's also a dope tattoo.
Yeah, I get a lot of compliments.
It turned out real good.
Yeah. I probably sound crazy for getting an international tattoo on a whim.
How many people can say that they flew to South Korea for one day to get a tattoo and then flew back to Japan?
Probably not many people.
Not many people. Not many people. I think that's cool, man. I wish we would have spent more time in South Korea. I know I've said this multiple times.
Yeah.
I've heard South Korea is like awesome. Off the charts, just super cool.
Yeah. I'll go back one day.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, man. I want to see Europe. I want to travel. Like, I want to go see where the Lord of the Rings was filmed. You can go to like Hobbit Town.
I want to check out
Shire.
Brazil.
Brazil would be cool. I want to go to Greece. I've heard Greece is like fantastic.
It'd be cool to see their like historical places.
It'd be a cool honeymoon spot. Little hut on the beach.
Probably.
That'd be cool.
Is Greece where they have like the areas with like the all white buildings and like blue rooftops?
It's Athens.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I also want to go to Rome. I think it would be cool. I've heard that the Colosseum, like to go to the Colosseum in Rome, is like a super surreal experience. You just walk in and you feel the levity of it.
Yeah, I imagine because there's so much history there.
Yeah, Athens, Greece.
Would you ever want to go to like any of the snow places?
Depends on which one.
Greenland's the one that actually has ice, right?
Yeah. Look at that pic, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's just
so colorful.
Beautiful country. It's awesome. So I want to see you know what? I've actually never Googled this.
You searching up Athens?
No, I'm looking up. I want to see Iceland, and look at that, dude.
That looks.
Get the French toast
Don't they
out
have
of
like
here.
the spas there too, like the natural spas?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there.
That would be so cool.
That's Iceland. I wonder what Greenland looks like.
Just all.
I remember someone told me. Oh my gosh, when someone told me that they were like, "Oh, you know, it's the complete opposite."
Greenland's the one with ice, and Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland's the one with all the green, and Greenland's the one with ice. And someone told me that it was because Vikings didn't want their people or didn't want people going there. They hear Greenland, they're gonna want to go, and so they were like, no, let's flip the names on some major petty, like the ultimate level of petty, where they're like, nah, man, we don't want anyone sharing in this. I'm gonna name this place Hell. The place with all the ice, that's gonna be heaven. Y'all can go over there. We'll kick it in hell. You guys don't want to come over here, and then we're living on the green lands. That's cool. I think that's super clever.
Yeah, traveling's fun if you are in the position to do it. They definitely save money and get out there.
Yeah. Well, and I also used to think that traveling was this big thing that you have to take, you hear these stories. Oh, man, I had to save up. We've been saving up for 10 years to go on this trip and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, we put together the money in less than a year to go. And it was a lot more inexpensive than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you got to factor in like how much time you want to be there. I guess laying out a schedule of like what exactly you want to do there. And
we did flights, Airbnb, and 12 days in Japan for what, $3,500 a person? That's like including spending money.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, it was about $500 or it was like $2,500. I think I spent $3,000 total.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all to go to an international country for 12 days and live like kings while we were over there.
Yeah.
I mean, the food that we were eating over there, we were just like, yeah, pile it on. It was an episode of New Girl. Nick is like, you know what? I went out the other day and I got a sandwich and they asked me for guac, if I wanted guac. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, it's extra, right? And he's like, I don't care. Just bring it. That's the kind of mentality that we had when we were over there. We're like, oh, what were those things called? The little pastry things.
Oh, I know what it's called. It's the little fish.
It's the little fish pastry thing.
I mean, it's not like literal fish. It's just...
No, it was in the shapes of fish. Taiyaki.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Taiyaki. We just were like, hey, let's get some taiyaki.
Yeah.
That junk was so good.
Especially the guy who's making it fresh.
I was super cool over there, man. The people are just super nice. And
let me give you green tea while you wait for
taiyaki. That was cool too about the food and stuff. You'd go over there and rice is like included. Tea comes with it.
Green tea all
the time. That green tea at the sushi place. Ooh, mama. I still haven't had sushi.
Still haven't had ramen.
I was so upset. Kenji's on 164th or on Mill Plain. You ruined me. I'm calling you out too. I'm calling it out.
I'll make my return to ramen. I'm kind of like waiting for that.
I gotta have my girlfriend take me to that spot in Portland.
Yeah.
She told me that it was like, well, you gotta take it with a grain of salt because she's obviously never been to Japan. But
how does it stand up against?
Oh, I asked her. I was like, send me pictures of because I just wanted the overall feel of the restaurant.
What are the rations like?
I want to look at, and she said the portions were huge. And I was like, is it a really small, kind of hole in the wall place? And she was like, yes. And I was like, perfect. That's perfect. Some of the smaller shops that we went into when we were over there were the best restaurants that we hid or that we found.
Yeah, those are the ones you gotta like. You just gotta do it and go out and try.
So, change subject here. I had a hypothetical question for you.
All right.
Or not necessarily a hypothetical question, more of a question that I want to see how you would act or respond to.
I'm ready.
What amount of money would you need to be paid to lose one of your senses, one of your five senses?
So sight, hearing,
taste, hearing, smell, and then is the other one like intuition? I don't know. I don't know.
touch.
Yeah, touch. That's good. Obvious call.
Do I have a choice to opt out of it?
No. So let's say a guy has a gun to your head and is like, you lose one of your senses, and what's the lowest dollar amount that you would take? So not only does this guy have a gun to your head, he's going to give you money to give up one of your senses, but you have to lose at least one. For what dollar amount?
Any dollar amount, you said?
Any dollar amount. What's like the lowest dollar amount that you'd go? Like if someone was like, hey, I'll give you $5 to lose your sight, you'd be like, nah, make it 50 and we cool.
50?
No, I'm kidding. That's an example.
Man, I really like the way food tastes, so taste can't be one of them. I feel like maybe smell for, I don't know.
Fun fact.
10,000?
Fun fact. If you can't smell anything, you can't taste anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 100%.
I don't, because I mean, like, I can't be blind. I can't have, like, it's hard enough for someone that has bad vision, I can't even imagine how I'd operate without them being able to see anything. Touch, I mean, like, what, you just go around and, like, someone, like, punches you and you're just like, eh.
Well, no, you still feel pain. But if you were to touch if you were to touch, like, this soft sweater, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's soft. It just feels like it's like touching paper all the time, probably.
But do you get, like...
I don't know how that would feel. To, like, lose your sense of touch?
I don't know.
It's time to hit the Googler. I want to find out exactly what the five senses are.
I think we covered them.
Touch doesn't sound right.
It has to be touch.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can, yeah.
Sight, hearing, taste, touch.
Sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch, yeah.
What would you do?
Oh, well, $10,000 is not enough money.
I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic, I guess. If someone had a gun, like, how much, what is Jeff Bezos like coming at me with a gun saying?
I'm saying like, at least 100,000. I'm going to want to get something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a healthy amount to compensate.
If you were to lose the taste or the sense of smell, I know that you won't be able to taste.
And then you're like losing two.
Yeah.
But if you lose taste, can you smell?
I don't know. I don't know if if it's like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square kind of thing.
Ugh.
I can't live without my hearing.
I know, music's so important.
Music is so important to me. Drums. Like, I think that, in those hypothetical situations, would you rather be deaf or blind? I always go blind, like, immediately. Because you can still see, like Daredevil. You can still see with your other senses. Like, touch somebody's face, get the outline of their face. But if you can't hear, all you feel is vibrations. So rap music, all you feel is the beat. Metal music, all you feel is the bass. You don't get to feel any of the nuances of the breakdowns or anything like that.
Oh, the best part.
The Devil Wears Prada's breakdowns, August Burns Red's breakdowns. Concerts would no longer be fun. At least for me. I know there are deaf people out there that go to concerts. I'm not hating.
You got the like
You know.
interpreter.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rap
I'm just
concert.
saying. Yeah, like that
Those are pretty
future. Have you
cool.
seen the future?
Yeah.
When he like thinks that she's just dancing and he walks up and he doesn't know that she's signing at his own show.
Right.
Touch would probably be one, but then again, okay, does that I'd be interested to know if that affects like feeling and sensation for me.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So
what,
like if I can't feel something like the texture of something, fine, but can I still feel like the embrace of like a hug or
Yeah.
like a kiss? You know, are those kind of things just like how do you describe that?
yeah, that would suck.
How do you lose your sense of touch?
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. I wouldn't do it for anything less than $100,000. But even then, if someone was like, "Hey, you have to give up your sight," what dollar amount are you taking to give up your sight? I'm like, dude, give me $50 million. Like,
Yeah.
I'll buy robot eyes like Stephen Hawking. I don't care. Even that Jeff Bezos money. Is that a humdinger?
Yeah, it's making me think just because, I mean, particularly the touch one's interesting because it's like, do you just lose texture of things or do you just lose emotional, like, I guess the sensation, you know?
Well, that's what I'd be interested to find out because, when someone expresses their feelings in a, like, oh, someone pats you on the back or, it's a reassuring hug or, whatever, there is a certain level of emotional support that ties into that.
Yeah.
Do you lose the emotion? Like, if you were to lose the sense of touch, are you losing your emotions, part of your emotions as well?
Like, if my dog can't rub his head against me, like, what does that do to me?
I was thinking more of like a hug from your mom, but like, yeah, that works too. That works too.
Hey, I mean, they're important.
Of course they are.
When my
Or your chitlins.
little tiny dogs come up to me and like rub their head, it's like I'm their person. They look up to me, and it's like if they did that to me and I didn't have touch, they'd be like, "Why isn't our owner responding to this? Like he's absent of thought."
He's a shell of a man. I don't know what's happening to him.
I don't know who he is anymore.
I thought that was a good one. I'm trying to bring some of these more. I was telling my brother I'm feeling very retrospective today,
Yeah.
or introspective.
Retro is when you look back to things, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about serious nature, and he was like, "Oh man, talk about like men's rights." I was like, "No, I want to talk about something that's like like engaging within a conversation."
Yeah.
I don't want to just get on here and start talking about politics, which is nothing that I know about.
Yeah, I like the intricate thoughts and
Yeah,
something to make the wheels turn.
right. I think it's crazy. All right, man. You ready to shut this down?
I'm ready to do that.
You ready to make like a banana and split?
Wow. I'm just going to stop recording.
Are you ready to make like Tom and Cruise? Until next week.
Wow.
See you, bro.
Cheers.